Today I'm giving you guys a full tour of the 1-month cabin build. I challenged myself to do this all with no power tools or equipment and no store-bought building materials, including nails, screws, or rope. That said, I gotta take down my temporary tarp and get some light in there. And if you think I broke any of my self-imposed rules, there's over 200 hours of live streams and VODs for you to comb through as proof. So let's get into it. First, why did I pick this spot? Well, 1, I love the character of that tree. 2, it's easy access to the water. And 3, it's relatively flat compared to the rest of my land. But I did still have to dig out a lot of dirt to level my floor. I also put in a 2-log retaining wall beneath me to elevate the soil on the opposite side of the cabin. I set a support post in that corner atop a flat rock and ran a beam the full length of the shelter. Originally it was just held up in the fork of this tree, but down the line I added another post with a saddle cut. Hello there, Mr. Slug. On the other side I have pegs holding it in place and a big old 45-degree log keeping it all upright. As for the roof above my bed, I use sticks, pine boughs, and bark shingles in that order. It works at keeping the water out, but next time I'm going to use a layer of clay so I stop getting rained on with pine needles. The bed itself is debarked logs sitting atop perpendicular slats and some pine insulation with wooden pegs holding it in place. The 2 walls to the left and right of the door were done by stacking up tree trunks. I drilled holes and set wooden pegs in every single log to lock each layer together. Long stakes were driven into the ground and strapped to the interior ones using flexible pine boughs for some added stability. These sticks will become brittle and break over time, and that's okay. I really only use them to minimize wobble as I was stacking up these heavy logs. Trust me, now that they're up, these walls aren't going anywhere, but I did throw an extra brace on it because why not? As for my other walls and door frames, it's pretty simple, just logs cut down, buried in the dirt vertically, using wooden dowels to secure them as needed. I'm not going to go in depth again about the door build, the hinges, or how I did the latch, but I know a lot of people wonder what happens when the pine needles fall off. Well, the sticks will still be woven together, so I can shove bark and other stuff in there to fill it in. I'll do the same concept on the back door, which leads me out to my log pile and wood splitting area. I know I'll need additional firewood and storage, but it's nice to have a little stash right outside the cabin. For insulation in here, I use traditional log chinking, which in my case is a mixture of clay and moss. And you can see it really hardened up and filled those gaps great. You probably noticed I didn't insulate this corner yet. Well, that's because it's going to be my chimney and I don't want any flammable material in it. Okay, my fireplace is just rock and dirt, but how's that going to work when everything else is wood? Well, I'm going to debark that area and coat it all in clay with no moss in the mixture. I also need to build a wall on the diagonal, starting here, forming a triangular chimney to send smoke out the ceiling. Now you're thinking that's an awfully flat roof for water runoff. Well, you're not looking at rafters, you're looking at joists and floorboards. That's right, I'm going to turn this into a 2-story cabin. But that's a wrap for part 1 of the bushcraft build. Thank you to everybody on kick.com who tuned into this series. Unfortunately, now you got to wait for season 2.